All right, welcome back to the Big Kids Podcast. All right, welcome back to the Big Kids Podcast. I'm your co-host D Money, and this is
Julia.
And we're back for another podcast after probably a month and a half now that we haven't filmed any podcasts whatsoever.
I don't know, maybe.
Maybe we had 2 Spurs of the Draw With Us specials.
Yeah, that was fun.
See, I thought we could make a whole series out of it. You know, how some channels and stuff have miniature series aside from what they normally do. Turns out we probably can't because I don't know how we can draw things a lot. You know, the first one. What was it? Our favorite restaurants? Was it? No,
we never made that one. We can totally make that one.
No, what was the first one that we did?
The first one we did was just we drew each other, then we drew.
Oh yeah, they get to know us.
Just random things, yeah.
Then the second one was geniusly called character development, and we drew a bunch of characters that we know.
Oh yeah,
that was disgusting. All right, so we're back finally. We have the whole new look for the podcast ready to go, debuting
pretty
it
much
with this podcast.
Oh yeah,
I'm
exciting.
I'm excited.
Yeah, me too.
You did a lot of that work in the background.
I did, yeah. So don't judge, guys. I'm a busy person. And well, I
Anyways,
I want to say I did my best, but whatever. I think it's pretty cool what I've done so far. So
yeah. So
there's always room for updates.
So while you are the registered graphic designer for the podcast, I do all the behind the scenes kind of work. So I edit the videos, I modify the sound for them. You know, I buy all the equipment. That's all by myself.
Kind of cute. It's kind of cute.
Yeah, but I do that.
Okay, but I provide you with the video editing software, don't I? And
yeah,
don't I have the tablets and all that?
I could pay $20 a month for that if I so chose.
Yeah, but I also provide the ASMR aspect of the channel. For example, how do you guys like that?
One of them,
people actually like that.
One of them was her room spray. The other one was me using my voice. See how redundant your job is. But what I was gonna say with the me editing and doing everything behind the scenes is that I have this little device. It's called the Streamdeck, and it's basically a tiny little keyboard that has a bunch of shortcuts for Premiere Pro.
I think we know what that is.
Right, you don't
this is a gamer podcast. Everybody knows what that is. I think we know.
Every gamer out there. Yeah.
I think we know what a Streamdeck is.
You're yelling so much.
Please continue.
No, but so that's what I have, and I used it for a whole week. Then, this past week, I was fixing up my desk and doing some cable management to make it look neater. And when I unplugged my computer for that. And the moment I plug it back in, it starts glitching out. It starts restarting, turning on, restarting. Everything's all my keyboard, my mouse, everything starts connecting. Then it disconnects, then it connects, and I can't use it basically.
Uh-oh.
So I found out the root of the problem was the Stream Deck itself, and it turns out I got a defective one, and they're pretty expensive. So you could tell I was on.
Insert a price right here.
$100. Well, they're normally $150, but Amazon Prime Day, whatever.
Oh, this guy's naughty. He's a little naughty.
He got a discount. What a fucking bitch.
He's dangerous. Don't be around this guy on Amazon Prime Day.
He'll buy everything.
Let alone Black Friday.
What Friday? Sorry, I just
sorry.
African
American Friday.
It's a Friday.
I'm sorry.
Okay, well,
just Friday.
Anyways, after that insensitive comment from our white co-host, not a person of color like I.
That is true.
What's it called? So back to the story, right? You freak. And I spent the past
white supremacist.
You said that. I wasn't gonna go that far, but I was emailing the company who makes the Stream Decks. Their name's Elgato, and the first back and forth trying to figure out what was wrong with it was fine. It was it took 2 days to email them email me back, and then me email them. And then when it got to the point where they worked under my warranty and tried and have to get me a new one, they have not gotten back to me for 4 days.
That's epic.
They asked for all my information, never got back to me at all.
Did they ask you your social security?
Yeah, I mean, what else was I supposed to do? Not give them my social security?
Did they ask for your bank account number?
Yeah, and then
did they ask
the 16
for your
digits in the front of my card and the
three wacky digits on the back? Oh my god!
The expiration date, just so they know when they can use it to process the refund.
Okay, well, I don't know. They seem pretty. They seem like people you can trust. So I don't know why they're taking so long. They're probably just making sure they're probably background checking you just to make sure you're good.
No, I get that because the Nigerian prince that I sent my credit card information to, he also took a while to get back to me.
Yeah, Give it a little bit.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm still waiting.
Okay, if you see like any activity in your bank account, like if you see some like money getting moved around,
I think that's
a part of the process.
No, that's definitely them. Just like seeing if the card works. I know they'll reimburse me for it.
No, yeah, of course, yeah. So they're just moving it around.
Yeah, no, they're just moving it around. It's nothing too big to deal with.
Yeah, you'll get everything back. They just need a check.
Shut up. Anyway,
raise your hand if you believed us.
Speaking about dicks, like dicks as in like those assholes, as in like people who are jerks, like the company that makes the Streamdecks, Elgato,
like doo-doo heads.
Yeah, doo-doo heads. No, my friend, he went to Europe for the summer, basically like a month and a half or something like that. He messaged me like halfway through his vacation. He's like, "Hey, dude, I got you a little souvenir." And like, my heart like ripped into a million pieces because it's like, wow, my friend thought of me, because I don't have very many friends, guys.
That may or may not be a little bit,
suggestive. Well, let me tell you the best part of why it's suggestive. He sends me a video because we went to hang out yesterday. He had the souvenir with him. He didn't give me it, and then when he gets home, he's like, "Dude, I just forgot to give it to you. In general, like, I'm so sorry, apologize and shit." And I was like, "Is cool." Just like nonchalant, but I was actually like brokenhearted. He sends me a video of him like opening the little security package it came in, just to like that he wrapped it in, so it's not like he opened the package of it. It was a small little paper envelope, and you know what was inside it?
What?
A bottle opener keychain. I thought that was really cool. And then I saw the rest of it.
What was it of?
It was a bottle opener keychain with Ibiza on it, the place in Spain, and the keychain was in the shape of a penis. So I had a piece of penis flown all the way from Spain over here.
You know that they make straws like that for bachelorette parties?
Pee-pee shaped straws?
Yeah.
That's so... Dude, marriage culture is like the weirdest thing ever.
I know, it's really weird. Yeah, I saw some recently.
Oh, yeah. You had a bachelorette party a few days ago at the non-disclosed location. Yeah. Marriage culture in the U.S. is especially weird because so for our UK listeners...
Our boys from Africa, UK, Asia, Japan, South America, the two distinct provinces. Haiti. Where you at?
Mexico. Because Mexico doesn't even do the shit Americans do.
Not even Canadians do the shit Americans do.
And rightfully so. Like, Americans are
not even Illinoisans do what Americans do.
Shout out Illinois. No, but what I'm talking about is, so there's basically like a rite of passage for people getting married. It's the day or the week or whatever, like right before they get married, and they have these bachelorette parties to celebrate the last few days that the bride and the groom are single, quote unquote single. But it doesn't. The premise of it doesn't make sense to me, because so either you look at it one way or another, and like the first being that it's their last day of being single right before they get married for the rest of their life, and it's like before you get married, I'm assuming you're dating this person.
Yeah, so you're not single.
So you're definitely not single.
No, yeah, I know.
So it's like, and like it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world if it weren't for the fact that like the typical party involves like very sexual, I don't know. No.
They're not cheating, but
they're very
of course
sexually charged parties, to say the least, So you have the guys typically going to strip clubs or like doing some dumb shit like that, looking at titties, or you have breasts. Sorry. Or
breasticles.
Or you have the women going to male strip clubs and looking at peepees or penises.
Okay, but is that really the majority?
I don't know.
Do you really think?
I've never been
That's just what's in the media. Yeah, none of us have ever been to one. I've never had one.
Yeah.
Are you really?
Yeah, well, I've definitely never had a bachelor party. I'm not married. I'm 20 years old. Have you ever had a bachelorette party?
No.
Okay, good. Because that'd be kind of like alarming.
Yeah, it would be.
I didn't even know we would have gotten engaged if you had one. Unless you broke off a marriage before you were with me. But yeah, the whole concept of them is really weird. And like I said, so the first way of looking at it is that you were married, you were already in a relationship with the person prior to being engaged. So it doesn't make sense to celebrate being single then. Because it's like, so that's the first way of looking at it, because you were never actually single during the whole relationship. The other way to look at it is that you're celebrating your last day of being able to break off the relationship, which again is also not true, as in marriage isn't forever. You know, like maybe it's the last day you can easily break off a relationship, but once you get married, you can get divorced, you get separated. You can
I
do
don't
all
think
that shit.
I don't think that bachelorette parties are the last day you can easily break off.
That's what I'm saying. What's the last day you can be like worry free, as if like the relationship doesn't matter until you're married.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Obviously, though, like I'm sure it stemmed from more like traditional. Oh, like people. I don't know. Maybe it's like a really old tradition type thing where it was more normal to not be in a relationship before marriage, and like marriage was just the beginning of it. I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
But what do you mean? Because like, look, the way you say that, and the way I'm thinking about it is like, you're talking traditional as in the 1800s type shit, where like people were off in England being like, tip cheerio,
hey, can I please have a crumpet?
You know, them giving off their boys to be married to women, and that's where they start the relationship. But I'm sure as hell like confident that those like uptight, you know, uppity people from like a couple centuries ago were not going out getting blasted and celebrating their last day of being single.
Oi, what do you think this accent means? That I'm uptight?
You sound.
We should do
Australian.
an entire.
You shouldn't do any accents.
We should do an entire episode just like that.
You shouldn't do any accents.
Oi, bloody! I have a bloody blood sausage.
You sound Australian more so than British.
I don't know how to do an accent.
So don't do it.
Please leave me alone.
No, so I, you know, like I just don't understand what like I get it's just like an excuse to like fuck off and like do some like bad shit as like, and you know, like just under the guise that it's like, bro, it's my bachelor party, it's my bachelorette party, I can get fucked up and like dick down if I wanted to, you know, like.
Oh my god.
And you know, they say that 90% of marriages, like, well, not marriages, but fiancé-ships, engagements, 90% of engagements get broken.
Fiancé-ships, yeah, that one.
The reason they get broken up is because the bride or the groom is infidelitied.
We're coming up with really good words today. Infidelity.
Infidelity is a real word.
I know.
But because of infidelity,
because they've been infideled.
Citadel. But yeah, because of infidelity during the bachelorette party.
Really?
No, I don't know. Don't quote me on that.
Oh my god. Did you get that from Facebook video?
I got that from the top of my head.
I don't see anything. Where'd it go?
Dude, Facebook videos are like a whole new world. You know, like they're not real. You're not real. I'm real. No, because like...
You're not real, I'm real.
You know that typical guys where it's like, oh, dude, I just like look at my phone for the time, and then like 20 hours later I'm like on like YouTube or something looking about how to like, I don't know,
how to properly eat ramen.
Coma lion's fur mane, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like those, like, I just start watching random videos because I'm so random.
LOL random.
Yeah.
Lols.
Guys, get your Wattpad apps out, you know, like that type of shit.
Get your what out?
Wattpads. That's where those like fan fictions in middle school were written and all that shit.
Oh.
Guys, we need our hydro flasks.
I don't know.
Dude, get with the fucking trends.
I like dinosaurs. I love
dinosaurs. Roar means
roar
I love you in dinosaur. I love you in dinosaur. No, but yeah, so those Facebook videos, like, they're all interesting in that my short attention span isn't phased by them, or it is phased by them, and I can pay attention to them for their like duration, you know.
Yeah, they're so like, you just keep wanting to watch the next one. Yeah,
and especially because like literally during like at the end of your first video, it swipes automatically to the next one. You don't even have to do anything.
Yeah.
You know, so like it takes being lazy to the next level.
Yeah. I know, you don't have yeah, you don't have to swipe. You just sit there.
You literally just sit there and have videos played for you.
And then you just kind of like stare at it. Your mouth is gaping open. There's a little saliva dripping out.
And like the difference between that and YouTube is that YouTube, for the most part, you go to YouTube for videos that you want to see. Like you go out of your way to look at the videos, you know?
Yeah. Whereas on Facebook,
for Facebook, you see like a video about like this rapper rapped about hating Kit Kats. Now this is what Kit Kat had to clap back with. You know?
Wait, is it just me? Okay, I don't know if it's just me, but Do you see like a ton of Dr. Phil on Facebook?
No.
I do. And
yeah, it's probably just you.
I really like watching it. Does Facebook know what videos you watch for longer?
Yeah,
and I'm
assuming they have an algorithm too, like any other site. You know, to direct stuff to you. So be like, Dr.
I see
Phil.
So much Dr. Phil.
Yeah, no, I see. I'm in the room right next to you watching you watch Dr. Phil.
That's what my Facebook is filled with.
You
Dr.
dumb
Phil.
whore.
I will throw rocks at you. Open your door. I love those. If anybody's never heard of this, we're referring to the fact that Dr. Phil sometimes like read stuff out loud, but he's like reading quotes of like somebody who said some bad stuff, but it's taken out of context. So like there's memes of Dr. Phil like
anyways, outside of the Dr. Phil spectrum. But yeah, so like it'll be like a bunch of nonsense, you know? And it's like that whole like stereotype where it's like I ended up watching a really weird video. It's not. That doesn't exist with Facebook. You just start off watching a really weird fucking video. You know, it's like this old man saw that a child was born without
eyes,
diapers. So what he did next will surprise you. And it's like
when your child isn't born with already attached diapers.
Yeah, diapers. No, you know, and it's like there's stuff that I wouldn't go out of my way to see. But because they're right there, might as well look through like an hour's worth of content.
But the worst part is in the middle of it, there'll be a stupid ad. And so you have to decide, do I really care about this enough to go through the ad?
The moment there's an ad, I always swipe away.
Really?
I'm not watching this. It's not important enough to me.
But they always put the ad right where at the quote
most
unquote
intense part.
Yeah, where you want to find out what's next.
So
they purposefully put ads in. YouTube does that too. Like most people do.
Find out why Rihanna said she'd never like kiss a child, and then right when she says why she wouldn't kiss a child, it's like, do you or a loved one have ugly disease or some shit like that, you know? And
Prilosec.
You know, it's just some dumb shit. And like,
you know, those videos that are like 15 movies that you haven't heard of.
The Watch Mojo.
Everybody knows that movies exist.
Hi, my name's Amanda from Watch Mojo. And these are 15 movies you didn't expect were part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Number 1, Scooby-Doo and the Cyber Chase.
No. Because sometimes they'll give this whole intro as if it's like a school like essay.
It's like a lecture.
They'll be like, everybody knows that for years, human beings have watched movies ever since the dawn of time. And they have shaped us in profound ways.
Even when they were driving dinosaurs.
And this is like point 1 where they like step forward and today we are going to watch.
That's excessive explanation.
You know those intros that are like so academic and like really.
They have their whole like citations
grade,
at the end of the video too. It's like the credits. The first thing is works cited. No, yeah, but like on top of those Facebook videos, someone who's really taken an advantage of it is like a group called Malthus. You know?
Oh yeah, I watch a lot of those.
And they have like a bunch of like, they're not silent, they have music in the background, but they're just a bunch of videos where instead of like actually talking, they just like put captions of what's going on the screen.
Yeah.
And then they just tell like a small like 60-second story. And one of them, like, I don't know what it is with the media and their asphyxiation for plastic surgery. But it's like so many things are like, surgeons don't believe that you should be having plastic surgery for this reason. These famous stars had plastic surgery for this and this. You know, and they always cite the Kardashians.
Really?
Yeah, and like...
They cite the Kardashians?
Yeah, they're always like talking about the Kardashians and like what's going on with them and like how they have plastic surgery.
Really? Are you thinking of the right thing?
Yeah, no, I've seen so many videos of that. And it's like...
I only get the deep ones. The ones that are really deep.
I only get the ones about dying kids.
Yeah.
Where can I look at the ones that
Wait, why are you getting the ones about big butts?
So, like, I just found out incognito.
Oh, my God.
No, but, you know, and it's like, I get having to make a story and using whatever you can to make that story. And it's like, to me, the people were like, why the fuck are we talking about the Kardashians? Fuck them. They don't do anything. To me, those people are annoying because it's like, dog, all you know about them is straight up the fact that they sometimes model.
Hey, I've got a question for you.
Yeah.
What do you think of I've heard that Kim Kardashian is trying to get some people out of jail, but apparently there's this like murder that she's trying to get out of jail. What do you make of all that? I don't really know the details, but that seems weird. Why is she trying to get like a serial murderer?
So for me, those things are always tricky because it's like right off the bat is that you'll so you'll never know the full story. That guy could be convicted for murder, and you won't know whether or not he actually murdered that person because the one eyewitness basically is dead. You know, and like you have those tough cases like the Central Park 5 where those kids didn't commit those crimes.
The case wasn't really tough. It was more so just like a really bad system.
No, but you know what I'm saying? So it's like those kids, the whole time they were in jail, were saying, we didn't attack that woman. We didn't do anything. We were just there with our friends. The whole time they were saying that, but because no one believed them, they went to jail. And it's like, even once they got freed, there was so many people who were like, why the fuck are these like rapists outside of my like house and all this? Why are they free to go? Yeah. You know, because as much as the truth is out there, not 100% of the people are going to believe it. So this guy, who was a convicted murderer, he could have the same situation where he was failed by the law, got locked up with just like the smallest bit of like non-sequential evidence against him. But because people were so thirsty to lock up a murderer, they put him in jail. That could be the case, but it also could be the case that he actually did murder that person. Yeah. So it's like, no matter what happens, you're never going to actually know what happens, because that guy, the moment he got put on suspicion for murder, he lost all credibility. No one's ever going to look at him and believe that he didn't murder that, like the victim, you know? Yeah. I mean, aside from his family and friends, if they still believe him, but it's like, he could completely be innocent, but because he was convicted, no one's going to actually believe it. Yeah. Or at least a majority of people aren't going to believe it.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's why Kim's on the case.
Kimmy K. Case solver. Kim Case solver.
So, speaking of people...
Yeah.
Getting out of jail?
Oh, yeah. Aesop's Fable. Rocky.
Yeah, that.
A$AP Rocky. Yeah, he was not convicted.
Was that a real tweet?
Oh, his thing where it's like... what's his name is A$AP Rocky's finally
things
released.
Are looking rocky for it.
This week it's been a rocky week. Get home ASAP. Yeah, dude, oh my god, that tweet. So many people made fun of it because it's like he's trying to spit bars. Oh yeah. You know, like to him it's
just, did you see the one and then like underneath there's a comment, it's like, black people aren't gonna vote for you, dude.
No, so for those of you who don't know what we're referencing,
black people President Trump,
our great President Trump, the one guy but standing in between us and a total war.
My president
Trump. So, dude's very active on Twitter. He was trying to be very active on trying to free A$AP Rocky from going to jail or from staying in jail in Sweden because he beat some dude's ass who was harassing them. You know, fuck that guy. But so A$AP Rocky finally gets freed, and Trump, you know, being the socialite he is, tweeted out some like congratulations tweet saying we're finally getting Rocky home, and the dude's name is A$AP Rocky. His rap name is that. And so he drops this sick bar, you know, Trump, he drops a sick bar on Twitter, and he's like, it's been a rocky week, let's get you home ASAP, you know, A$AP Rocky. Hilarious, right?
Oh my god, I can't hold it in.
So many people went crazy over it, and like, you know, like how Photoshop is accessible to anyone that will pay for it, and then there's free photo editing apps. So someone took a picture of Trump, gave him like what are they, waves? You know, the hairstyle.
Oh, I saw that.
Gave him a fresh fade. And then they captioned, they were saying, this is how Trump feeling after he dropped that sick bar. And then they put AirPods in his ear, and it just looks so ridiculous.
I saw that. That was good.
And then there was other ones where it's like no one, and then middle school teachers trying to relate to their kids, to their students, and so many memes came out of that. And like, fuck the dude, but like his like everything he says is a gold.
He's a ridiculous dude. Yeah. He's a ridiculous dude.
But I'm not gonna tell you guys how I align myself politically.
What do you think?
What do you think? Am I a right wing conservative?
Dun, 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 dun.
But it's just some ridiculous stuff on Twitter, you know.
I'm not on Twitter.
Yeah,
Twitter.
you don't use Twitter.
I follow you.
Yeah, I think most of your page is just retweets of what I tweet out.
Yeah, because you tell me. Yeah,
you don't say anything.
Nothing.
Don't tell them I tell you to retweet my stuff. So your page is just like a secondary page for me. Like all your tweets.
It really
just,
is, honestly.
Because you got to be more active.
I don't really care for Twitter, but that's where like most of the people that I like are actually mostly on Twitter.
Like who? I thought you just like me. Are you cheating on me? Possibly.
No.
Possibly.
No.
You can if you want to. Just like make sure your mom calls my mom.
No.
Let's let them know.
Can you ask your mom?
Dude, if you ask your mom, she'll say yes. But if I ask her, wait, hold on. Wait.
No, ask your dad because your mom is
mom's
in a bad
bitch.
mood right now.
Dude, speaking of your mom, okay, dude, my mom's in a bad mood. If you ask my dad, he'll say you can sleep over. No, speaking of parents, my parents just got back from their motherland, Mexico. You know, they were on a sly little vacation. Yeah, not that place. They're legal citizens, guys. Calm down. Well, my dad is. Whoops.
Your mom too.
What do the freshman class of 2023 say? And I oop.
I don't get that.
Hydro flask.
I don't. Oh, okay. Sure.
No, but yeah, they were on like a week and a half long vacation to Mexico. They went to see my mom's mom. Some would say my grandmother. And the fun thing about Mexico is I haven't been there in like 6-7 years, but my parents go almost every year. And every time they go, the only reason I'm excited for when they get back is that they always bring yummy little treats. Yeah, they bring like these like coconut bars that are like dead ass just coconut, and like they're dyed red, white. Well, I guess not white. Coconut's already white.
They're out here dyeing coconut white.
So they dyed red and green on the ends to look like a little Mexico flag, and they're really good. And this bitch doesn't like them.
I don't like coconut.
Which is
plenty of people don't like coconut.
That's just ignorant. Name 4 people that don't like coconut.
Me, myself, and I.
And
God.
He made them, so joke's on you. But yeah, my parents always bring nice little treats for us. And so normally they take a road trip all the way down to Mexico, so they have their own car because they don't typically stay at like the hotels and all that. They go straight to my grandparents' house, and they live, rural ass Mexico. They have barns and their own like land and stuff. So they want to have their own like little pickup truck there. And then it also helps them carrying a bunch of stuff back because you know how Mexican people are. They leave with like a pair of socks and like a pair of boots, come back with like 4 mattresses, a bunch of like souvenirs and trinkets. They have like a whole new family, the whole shebang, just in like a span of 1 week,
Oh, I didn't assume that. So thank you for enlightening me. I didn't assume that at all.
But yeah, so that's what they do. And when they do that, they have the freedom of basically bringing back whatever much they want, as long as it can fit in their trunk. Aside from obviously like liquor and all that, they can only bring specific volumes of that, But on the plane, it's very restricted on what you can and can't bring, So they brought significantly less this time than when they normally go. And my mom, I don't really eat chips from Mexico. But my mom, she comes back with like a big grin on her face, puts her bag down on the table that she brought with all the stuff she bought us. And she's like, I know you really like these chips, and I know you're going to love this, and I'm just so excited to give you them. And she hands me the bag of chips, and I've never heard of these fucking chips.
What are they?
They're just some here, I have them right here in the studio.
Let me try one. Ooh, let's do a taste test.
They're called rancheritos, and they're like little strips. They're basically like Mexican Fritos.
Oh my God. Is it open?
No, just go ahead and
it's a whole bag.
Dude, get the unboxing experience.
All right.
Actually, they're not bad.
No, they're not bad. They're more plain. I don't mind more plain. They're not as
they're like Mexican.
They're not as oniony.
With Takis.
They're not very spicy at all. They're not spicy at all, actually. But they have a lot of spice on them.
Do you think Takis are spicy?
Yes, Takis are spicy.
Well, why?
Are hot Cheetos not spicy?
Not very much, so no.
They are spicy.
Says who?
Okay, just because to me they're barely spicy. Just because that doesn't mean they're not spicy. Yeah, they're spicy.
Bro, guys, listeners, my viewers who are listening, she thinks that the XXL hot Cheetos are spicy. She straight up won't eat them.
I'd way rather eat the regular hot Cheetos.
The flavorless hot Cheetos, you mean? Sorry.
I'll stop eating some now.
Quit eating them. Jesus Christ. We have the half an hour until the podcast is done. You can't wait.
All right, well, for the next half hour, I'm just going to eat this bag of chips.
Just anyway, so in a week, we're actually going to open up our Big Kids ASMR channel.
Apparently.
Except, so the thing with ASMR is that I remember you saying you like that shit because I was confused as to why people like that shit. But when I try to do ASMR for you, you're like, ew, quit chewing stuff in my ear.
Yeah, because do you think that sounds good?
That's not what ASMR
also, not
is.
Not everybody likes the same types of ASMR.
Some people like people chewing on deodorant bars. Some people
don't.
Tapping on the microphone.
Have you ever seen? Because I don't know. Because it's a calming sound.
What is ASMR? Like what does it stand for? Yeah, there you go.
Autonomous Sensory Meridian
Vehicles. Oh, ASMV. R. Rolex.
Autonomous Sensory Meridian Reflex? No.
Reflex.
I don't know. I don't know.
I just put a bunch of fake words together too and call it, and like make a whole cult around it. ASMR is going to be called BDSM.
That's disgusting. But
just like a quick side story, we talked about like what I thought BDSM was before, right? So
not on here.
So for our younger audiences, please like fuck off. For our older audiences, you can continue listening if you want. But so BDSM.
I'm sorry,
is some
younger audiences. Yeah, I'm
some
sorry.
Kinky type shit. It stands for bondage, domination, as submissive, and masochism. There you go.
We know really good words.
Yeah. So for me, when I found out about BDSM, just like any typical person, any typical male, is during middle school, right? And it's because all of my horny friends were constantly talking about like porn and all that. And I was, being a Christian kid, I was just repulsed by it, you know? And no one ever explained to me what BDSM was. And I was too stupid to know, like, you know, all the like subsets of like kinky sex, you know, bondage and all that. And so I thought it meant big dick, small mouth. And I was like, why would anyone want that? That is so weird. That is just so gross. And yeah, it wasn't until like a year or two ago where I realized.
But you made it.
That's what I thought. I mean, it sounds like something people would like, you know. If people can be into
that sounds
feet,
like something people would want.
Look, that sounds way more normal than feet pics or some other shit like that. There are furries out there, you know, like.
I think furry is a part of BDSM.
I feel like a big pee-pee and a small mouth would be like the least weird thing in the world of like anthropomorphic animals, you know? What is it called? The furry convention? Anthrocon?
Oh, really?
I don't know. I've never been. What are you doing next summer?
How do you know so much about it?
Don't worry about it. Don't look in my closet.
Okay. Also, don't look at my Google search history.
Yeah, I mean, you can look at that. I have no shame of that. Furry pride. Oh my God. What were we talking about before this?
I don't know, but does it matter anymore? ASMR, this is really good.
There you go. ASMR. Yeah, you could just make up any letters and put a bunch of words behind it and make a trend with it, like BDSM.
Like LGBT.
Oh my God.
I'm just kidding.
Dude, you can't go there.
Do
not go there.
I'm sorry.
Don't.
I'm sorry.
Stop.
You know, there's like actual people in the community are like now analyzing the name of the community. LGBT is it's like an acronym or whatever you call that. It's not an acronym. I mean,
initialization.
I don't know what it's called. I forgot what it's called.
I remember talking to a friend about this where they said acronyms are words where each letter, like they're actual coherent words where each letter signifies another word. But there's something else. I remember they said initialization, but that just means starting something.
No, yeah. But anyway, there's the fact that the community is like the actual name of the community divides it more so than anything. Because it's not. So to me, that's not a joke. That's real.
To me, it sounds like that's because it's like a not unified. Like it's queer.
Yeah, because it's a community where people within the community also can harm people within the community can harm each other and go against each other. Like each subgroup can go
they can isolate each other.
A lot of times themselves. And
like
so
just like to preface this. I'm not against the LGBTQ plus community. I would
neither am I.
I would classify myself as an ally because I am a cisgendered straight male. You know?
Yeah.
But it's like, you bring that up and it's like I think it's very like ironic that a group where, you know, established in wanting to be a uniform community amongst, you know, like just, you know, straight cis people, establishes like borders between them. I don't want to say borders, but like they dignify each different. I don't want to say dignify because that sounds like you're giving it the opportunity to exist. But
dude, don't tiptoe around.
Dude, don't tip. No, you know, I just want to say, you know, like a group formed on unification has a lot of subsections, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I feel like that's like a little like sprinkle of irony.
But but that's not just within that community. I mean, this happens like all the time. Like for example, what is it called? Colorism, right. Where like there'll be like a group of people, there'll be people of color who believe that the tanner people of color are better than the darker people of color.
Yeah.
Like colorism. So it categorizes like people within their own group.
And you know how
it's
like
a common thing.
like a lot like what they always say is that pop culture is a true identifier of a generation. So like past generations who were obviously more seated in racism, they had those like the blackface actors who would like make caricatures of black people.
Yeah.
You know, obviously they had all that kind of like underlying racism and sexism type shit where like there would never be a gay couple on TV because the ideal mating system is a man and a woman.
Yeah.
Cisgendered man and a cisgendered woman.
Yeah.
You know, clean cut people, white picket fence, all that.
Yeah.
And now for us, our
Family.
pop culture is like typically revolved around memes and like inclusiveness on like, you know, like on all those platforms and being like active on social media and like what a lot of memes bring into the you can really tell that that's very accurate for our generation, that memes are the way to like talk about issues.
Well, I think that's different. I think that's still
is it though? Because like
No,
you were talking about that
it's
colorism and all that, and how like the lighter skinned people of color will think of themselves higher than the dark skinned people of color, to the point where people in like it's just like a kind of like universal thing where like light skinned people are better than dark skinned people. And like I'll see a bunch of memes about like people wanting like light skinned guys or light skinned girls over dark skinned people, and they'll make those like racist like animal jokes about them and everything, and people will laugh it off because it's a meme. You know,
I thought you were talking about something else though. I thought you were comparing like the popularity of like a traditional family compared to now the popularity of memes. That's what it sounded like.
No, well, I mean,
because like still our society definitely like
favors
rewards
the
traditional families,
like picket home fence kind of family.
Yes.
And it's like to me it's weird because I had my English class freshman year of high school, college. We had a whole it was a whole final presentation, you know, for our final, and it was about the American dream. And like without fail, every single person in that class talked about that white picket fence neighborhood.
Really?
Yeah.
And
like I was just I didn't.
Most families are non-traditional.
Yeah,
so
no.
why would they want?
I was looking around the room and like the beginning of the year, like a bunch of people talked about their home life, how they live. There was a bunch of people with parents who were divorced, a bunch of people with parents who weren't even in the picture. There was like, you know, like I don't want to say like gay people can't be part of that white picket home fence, but it's like,
well,
having a gay child isn't typically like picturized in that, you know?
No, it's not. Like it's always cis people. It's always, you know, heteronormative. No, completely.
You know, and it's like, I'm obviously not part of that white picket fence family because my family's not white. You know, white picket fence doesn't mean like white as in white people, but it's like typically it's American born people, you know. Otherwise we would fit that line perfectly, you know? Yeah,
maybe.
But there was only one person in that whole classroom who actually fit that normative. And it was a friend of mine who's just some like half white guy who lived in a more suburb than we do. So like half of his town is farmland, but the other half is like regular suburb, you know? So it's like that he does and doesn't fall into that category, but like he's the closest there was to that. And it's so strange that like this whole ideology is embedded into our current society. And like, you know, I'm not surprised about past generations, but the current generation knows that trope where like I'm willing to bet at least 50% of kids out there don't come anywhere near like that life, you know?
Yeah, maybe that's why they want it. It's really weird though, because
they didn't. None of them, and you know, oddly enough, none of them said they wanted it. They were all content with how they were living their lives and what they had. But like, is that complacency? Would that count? Like, it's hard to judge whether, like, you know, happiness is kind of hard to judge because it's like some people, they like how they live because they're used to it, and that's when complacency falls into line. But then the other argument is like, why does it have to be complacency? Why do they have to go for a different life than they already live?
No, because like sometimes not living the white picket fence life or whatever is not a choice because of this and that. Other times it's an active choice not to want to be in that traditional,
right? Because
is
it okay? So then,
for a lot of people, it's not possible to.
So then, in that instance, is that rebellion where you make the active choice?
Yeah, it would definitely be. Yeah, because you're rebelling against the norm. Yeah, for sure.
What do you mean rebelling against the norm? Like, elaborate on that, please.
The normative thing to do is to live that white picket fence life.
Oh, I thought you were saying like the norm, the rebellion against the norm, as in
So if you're living a life different than that, then yes, you are rebelling.
Yeah. So like what I thought you were saying was that, like generational gaps and everything are based on that the new normative becoming rebellion, where it's like an umbrella term.
Oh no, not at all.
The meta would be rebellion.
Well, actually, I don't know.
Because it's like
maybe stuff is changing.
I mean, like obviously shit's changing.
Maybe not enough. I don't know. Maybe not as much as we think.
What do you mean?
I'm saying maybe
like we're no different than the people before us, and then I mean, yeah.
I was talking to. I wasn't well. This was in a group of people, but somebody made a really interesting point. That I never really think too hard about these types of things, but I like to learn. Anyway, this person made the point that a lot of the change that happens is based on trends. So when this civil rights thing happened, it's because it benefited the dominant group, which is white men, right?
Right.
White hetero men,
right? Cis men.
And other times then there's different reasons why it would benefit them. And now we have this trend of like people being #woke or whatever,
right?
But that's now popular because it benefits, and they're and what people are thinking is at some point it won't be beneficial anymore, and it's gonna fall out of popularity, and it's not gonna really. It's not really much of a progression, apparently.
So so progression versus just like spotlight. Where
it's basically just an argument.
15 minutes in the sun, or 15 minutes of fame, and then like after that, when it's no longer a money grab.
Yeah.
Which I can see because so June is known as Pride Month. For the LGBTQ plus community, it's their Pride Month, to where they, obviously any day of the year they should be able to be free as themselves, but that's specifically where they celebrate all the distinctions between every group and what unifies them together, And what a lot of corporations did was they went on their social medias, changed their icons, their profile pictures, all that to the same logo they normally have, just with either a flag, a rainbow flag behind it. The icon itself is rainbow colored, And the moment June ended, they went back to their normal logos. But all of June they were very vocal about celebrate Pride, celebrate this and this, love each other, this and this, and then after that they just stopped continuing with that. And I that's very indicative of what you were saying, where it's for those big companies, especially in social media, as much as it
benefited them to be celebrating Pride Month.
Yeah, right. So as much as I don't want to blame social media for nixing everything and making everything easily disruptible, being able to fire someone over a video posted on Twitter, as much as I don't want to blame it, it's it has it has a lot to do with that, where it's if you don't make it known that you're an ally or you support the community, then it's so many people will boycott you, they'll go against you, and it's you don't have to say that, it's not like one of those things where it's they're against it, let's go at them, where it's a high possibility where you can say nothing but silently be an ally, just be on your own without pronouncing it to everyone. And because you didn't show that pride the same way a lot of other companies do, they'll attack you for it. And I say they as just an overarching, just they.
People.
There's random, people on the internet are going to attack you for not being vocal about it. Yeah. Which is if you believe in a cause, you should make your stance known, but you don't have to go every second of the day and say, hey, I stand for this, I believe in this, because there are and there aren't appropriate times for things to be said,
But that's kind of interesting though, because apparently, I forgot where I heard this, but apparently ChickfilA is the top chicken restaurant or something.
I mean, they're pretty good. They're pretty good.
They're pretty good, but
their founders or their higher ups, fun anti-LGBTQ.
Yeah, but also think about it, they're not open on Sundays. That's a very Christian
centric
practice, is to not work at all on Sundays.
That's their Sabbath day. the day of resting.
So interesting.
Yeah, and it's
just
like
putting that out there.
Just pointing that out there, and it's like
who's supporting them,
and it's like that's like that's one way you can support communities that you believe in without having to like broadcast it. So it's like if you don't go to Chick-fil-A, which we don't do, I just morally
we've been to Chick-fil-A, but not anymore, guys.
Yeah, morally we don't go to Chick-fil-A because we don't agree with what the higher ups do. That's not so to say that the people who work at that restaurants themselves are shitty. It's just like we're just not going to fund our money or fund Chick-fil-A with our money because we don't fully support what the decision makers do.
I'll get my milkshake from mother flipping
McDonald's,
Portillo's,
McDonald's, and by us there's a Chick-fil-A and a Portillo's right next to each other basically.
Oh my God, they're gonna look up every single place.
Now they're gonna know where we live.
Oh no.
No, but yeah, and like obviously now we're saying that we don't like give money to Chick-fil-A, but it's like we don't go around our school telling people, hey,
stay away from Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, we don't. If we see someone with Chick-fil-A, we're not going to smack it out of their hands, And,
imagine if we actually did that. We saw somebody with Chick-fil-A.
And the worst thing is that they give out free Chick-fil-A at our school every now and then. And it's
they do.
It's free. I don't know.
It's free. I don't care.
I mean, the school has. Well, I don't know if the school pays for it because They
the
vendor pay for a table at our school.
I don't think they pay for it.
Dude, I don't give a fuck.
I think they just come and they just bring their free food.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's
always how it is.
But yeah, so then they're losing money, so all the more reason to eat their delicious spicy chicken sandwiches, chicken biscuits.
Yeah. But they give us a free gift card. I've gotten
It's
that.
a free item, yeah. Which is
I always get a milkshake.
Nothing wrong with stealing from big corporations, am I right?
Basically stealing.
Oh, speaking of stealing.
Because we're not going there to spend money.
Well, hold on. So just to tie it back in, before we talk about stealing from big corporations, I was a rebellious teen. We don't go flaunting that we do that shit. And it's like, like I said earlier, we're saying it now, but that's just like, an example. And it's like, you can silently help a group without like going out there and flaunting it. And to some people, that's bad.
Not to say that you should stay silent, but
yeah, I mean, like if there's it's everything's situational. So it depends on the situation you're in, whether or not you should be vocal or like it does, like it's not really appropriate to comment on. So it's like I'm not gonna go into Chick-fil-A and say these people hate the gays and just make all the workers there who may or may not hate the gays uncomfortable.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or something that we joked about literally 5 seconds ago was stealing from big corporations. I saw a video of a girl explaining why she steals from like Walmart and like all those big chain stores and says it's okay. And her rationalization is that she's stealing from the big corporations who take the hit on all those losses, so the money that they lose from the products that are stolen, they're the ones who take the hit. And it's like,
but do they really?
And like what I was thinking was like, I guess that makes sense. You shouldn't steal, but I guess that makes sense. And then like people were like reacting to her video, and like they're people who work in loss prevention, they're people who work in HR for the company, all those things, and they talk about how that's not at all what happens.
No, yeah.
So what happens for the most part?
What about the store that's counting all the money that they're trying to make?
That they're losing. No, yeah. So when a store reaches
the store gets in trouble.
When a store reaches a certain like ceiling of like losses that they've taken, that's when hours start getting cut. That's when people start getting fired because they can't afford them. That's when they stop hiring people and everyone's understaffed and everything, And like this girl, her bio said she was 15. So like you could tell like mad genius. She's like projecting this whole like ideology where it's like you're hurting the company and not the people who work there. They still get paid the same amount. And while they may get the same hourly rate, they could potentially lose their job. Or they could just work less hours because
Reduced
they can't.
Hours.
Yeah, because the store can't afford them. Ultimately, to where it gets to the point of it's like enough loss that's happening, the store shuts down, because they're just not profitable. But it's like you'd have to have like a lot of people stealing for that to happen.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
But it's like one person a day is still a lot.
Yeah.
1-2 people a day, a couple people a week. That turns into a lot of money stolen, and a lot of money lost.
Yeah, people like to rationalize.
And it's just like because it's not just because it's not a mom and pop store, it doesn't mean that there aren't like little people who are getting affected by it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it's like Like we worked at a fast food chain, corporation owned type shit. And
no, but like every day, like the managers would have to make sure we made a certain amount of money.
Yeah.
And like, that all counts.
But like what I was saying is like, if let's say someone steals an order, $100 order, and like you're writing down that they paid for it, but they actually like just like stole the order. Then like your chest, your drawers, your cash box, your drawer is going to come out that like whole order short because you're going to have written down that it was paid for, but it was actually stolen. And at the end of the night, of like for us, if we were $5 over or under in our drawer, that means like we shortchanged or we stole money from people, and we would get written up to the point where if like it was excessive enough, we'd get fired. So it's like, yeah, like the restaurant might have taken that loss, but we could have lost our jobs because someone decided to steal, And it's like,
which happened to me. I was definitely once somebody stole $100. They like tricked me into taking their $100 bill back,
giving it back and giving them the food.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it happens.
Yeah, and like people,
$100.
Innocent people lose their jobs because you think that some dumbass on the internet is like some like woke, rational, revolutionary, like like revolutionist.
Yeah.
And it's like, bro, just because the big corporations are the ones who mainly profit from the products you're stealing, doesn't mean that they're the first ones that are gonna get affected by this.
No, they're the last two.
It's like, if you can't, like, real shit, if you can't afford it, should definitely not be buying it or trying to steal it. Yeah. So it's like, just like before we end off here, like I read this like whole like little subreddit on Reddit. It's called Choosing Beggars, and what a lot of people, and what it is, as we've talked about this before.
I don't know if we have actually.
Well, it's a whole like forum where people post stories of people who try to like get them, like, I don't know how to explain it.
A lot of things are like things that favors people do for them, or things that are free, or it's just
people trying to take advantage of sellers. So like it'll be
a lot of times it's that, yeah.
It'll be stories of someone like selling an iPhone like 10s Max for like $400 because they need it. They need money for their bills, and then someone will message them on Facebook saying, "Hey, I can give you $150. This is not worth $400." And it's like that person is already getting like a 50-55% discount on the iPhone, but they're trying to like get it even lower or higher to 90% discount, and the person who's selling is just trying to make like their money. And they're they're lowballing them. And one of the biggest things there is that a lot of artists and like graphic designers and musicians post on there, and they'll post the whole like threads or conversations, text between them and a potential client, where the client's like, "Hey, like we don't have any money for bills or food, and like I'm just really strapped for cash right now. Can you like draw me Hitsune Miku or like Iron Man in a really cool pose for like $4? I know you usually like charge $120, but can you please do this for $4? I don't have a lot of money."
Oh my god.
And the person always replies to them with like, "Hey, I feel bad for your situation. I get it, but if you don't have a lot of money, you shouldn't be buying a luxury like art." And it's like, it's common sense. Like, yeah, duh.
Is that like a real example? Like they said they didn't have money for food, but yeah, they wanted a drawing of Hatsune Miku specifically?
No, not Hatsune Miku.
Oh, okay,
but it's like,
but
there's so many
really
instances
funny.
where they're like, "Yeah, I can't afford this right now. Do you mind doing it like at a super reduced price?" To the point where it's insulting to your work to expect it for this price.
It really is. Yeah. You have this skill that you put time into, and people think that, because it's easy for you this one time or whatever.
There's like a thread.
Maybe it's not easy. It's just
It was a thread where a person was like, "If you're an artist, you shouldn't be charging for your work. If you're starving,
I saw that.
Yeah, if you're starving, then that's good for your art, because artists thrive in the hardest times. So if you're someone
that's
who's paid
such a
for
stereotype that's not even true.
If you're someone who's paying for art, you're getting scammed. These people should like be grateful for all like the trying times, because that's when their most beautiful art comes out. And it's like
the stereotype of the tortured artist.
Yeah, and it's like, I can guarantee you, if an artist had to never work because everything they had in life was paid for, everything they didn't have to worry about food, have to worry about paying for any of their bills or anything, every single expense was covered for them, they would have so much more time to dedicate to art and making it better than if they were like
everyone has
stressed
a
out
story.
24/7.
Yeah, like you still have a story to tell
Mm-hmm.
with your art if that's what you're going for. You know, I don't know. Stupid.
Yeah, there's just so many. It's just a lot of pathetic people out there.
It hits home for me.
Yeah, because you're an artist and you struggle sometimes because you're pretty ugly. Anyway, so I think we should call it, right? All right, so that's been the 15th, 16th episode of our podcast. It's your co-host D Money and
this is Julia.
And we're just signing off. Have a wonderful week.
Bye, guys.
Bye.